Thank you for joining us on another episode of Real Voices. Have another great guest with us today. We have Karina Garcia with us, and just wanted to thank you for coming on and just get right to it and just ask you what brought you into the industry. What was it that inspired you to become an agent?
Well, thank you for having me today. It's a pleasure to be here. I started in this. It's a little long, but I used to be a sales rep for a third party company for Cox Communications, and then I met this team there, and they were forming a team for real estate. But since I had just joined their team as a sales rep for this internet and all this stuff, right? I didn't really participate or say much. I was just there, and then they were always asking one of the members there, when are you gonna go get your license? When are you gonna go to school? Did you sign up already? And we need a real estate agent, and I never cared to ask or anything. It went on and on like that for a few weeks. And then I remember that one of the guys that kept asking him, one day he just came up, to me and said, "Hey, why don't you get your real estate license?" And I said, I just thought, what? What is that? Tell me more. And so he started telling me about, you can do this, and we really need somebody in the team. We're already wholesaling. I knew they were already wholesaling because I seen some cash that they brought into the house once after celebrating, that they had closed. And the guy he's like, "Here, hold it." Like it was like probably $15,000 to $20,000 cash. And I was just really happy to be around that kind of people. And so when he approached me with that, like, "Hey, we need somebody in the team," like I already knew that they were serious, they were already doing it, and I just really believe in this team, and and there was that was one sign that wasn't the sign, that was like I signed up right after that. I just want to go back a little bit before that, where I went to this woman's meeting. They will give awards to women that were still going to college, because at this point I'm still in college, right? And they were giving out scholarships. And we were in this round table, and then the lady said, we had to say our names, and we had to say what we did. And the lady, one of them said, my name is so-and-so, and I'm retired, but I used to be a real estate agent. And the reason why I was a real estate agent, she said, it's because I always wanted to earn as much money as a man does. Like, I always wanted to be in a career where there is this equality, right? And to me, that sounded really good. Like, oh my gosh, wow, like, you go, girl, like, good job. And then this other sign came up with this guy, and I believe in signs. I believe in, people will guide you, and circumstances will guide you to the right, path. And that's what happened to me. That's how I became.
That's cool. It's one of those things, I ask that question a lot, and I don't think I've ever heard anyone say, "I grew up believing I was going to be a real estate agent." Right. So let me talk to you a little bit about that. Like, as a kid, what was it that inspired you? What did you want to be growing up?
Growing up, let me see, what did I want to? I knew I wanted to be in the business industry. There is a goal I had, and I do not know how this goal started or anything. I just remember as a more of a grown up that I always wanted to own a hotel. Like, I have no knowledge of why exactly. As a kid, I never stood. I was ever in a hotel because I grew up in Mexico, and you have your house, and very humble house, and I have no knowledge. I probably saw something on TV. I don't know. The point is that I knew that I wanted to own a hotel. I wanted to own a hotel. And I didn't know how it's going to happen or anything. But other than that, like if you tell me you wanted to be a teacher or a doctor or something, no, it never crossed my mind. I was always really, I think that I care too much about my relationships with people. I think I am, what do you need? I'm there. I am more on that. And it's funny how maybe I can now use that in this career, right? It's very, it's helpful, but definitely I come from a place of this is who I am. This is, I'm not trying to just get you to like me for whatever reason. It's just not, and that's that's it.
Yeah. I appreciate that. So as a young girl growing up in Mexico and having that dream, who did you tell people about that dream, or was that a secret you kept for yourself? What was that like? And
I think I kept it to myself. Yes, there was a recurring dream I had where I kept dreaming a lot about a city. I would look at it from either I'm on top of a mountain, or I'm on a airplane or helicopter, something up in the air. And I keep seeing the city, the lights of the city. And they're infinite. Like you can't not say, oh, okay, that's the end of them. No, you can't. And I think the dream started since I was like about 9 years old. And I kept having it. I think one day I told someone about it, and he said, I think that you're gonna realize the dream when you are living it. When you're there, you're gonna say, oh, that's the dream, because I always keep thinking, like, when is it gonna happen? And I think probably like 3 months ago, I started hiking this mountain, and I remember I didn't want to be there. With the pandemic and everything that's going on, there's a lot of people on the mountain, and I didn't really want to be there when there was so many people. So I started going a lot earlier. One day I couldn't sleep, and I got up and I left. It was like 2 a.m., right? So I'm like, it's okay. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be safe. It's gonna be okay. So I go to the mountain, and when I'm there on the top of it, and then I see the city, I kept asking. I said, is this it? Is this? And the good feeling that I had as a child, of seeing that mountain, the lights, was it? I don't know. I still don't know. But after that, it doesn't matter. Like I feel that, it's just, to me, dreams can happen. Real dreams, when will happen. And as long as you are, just grateful, and you keep living your life and not just hoping for that dream, it will just happen. It will just happen.
Right. I appreciate that. I've never had dreams that reoccur. So whenever someone tells me that, I thought that's pretty fascinating. That typically means something for you in your life, right? So as growing up, leaving your home and coming to here, what was, I guess, the greatest challenge of doing something like that? Just leaving home and going to a new place.
Oh my gosh, you're touching something very deep here. That is, I can approach it in different ways. I can tell you my story, but it's there's a lot in that story. There's a lot. Coming here to the United States was, man, it's like it's another chapter on a same book, but it changes everything in you. I was 15 when I came here. I came here to help out my uncle and my aunt who were struggling to find someone to take care of the kids that was trustworthy. They had just moved to another state, so they didn't really know many people. So they offered me to come here to help them. I took the chance, I took the opportunity, and I came here, and I really didn't know anything. I mean, learning English was a lot. It's not easy. I don't care.
It's not easy for me. It's my first only language, and it's a difficult language for sure.
It's a beautiful language. When I learned English, it's another dimension. I don't know how to explain it other than that. It's just a wonderful thing. It's just a wonderful thing because you have two different worlds, like literally. So the challenges that I face here, it was the language, culture shock. Like I was used to do and see things differently, and here it's I like it. I like it? It's nice. But getting used to everything, the style of living and everything it took many years. I can probably tell you, that I didn't really get into it until my daughter was born. She's 9 years old now, and that's when I really started coming out of my comfort zone. She really pulled me, not her, but it was the friends that she found in school, and then play dates. I'm like, what is a play date? Like, I don't get it, like I started learning it. Mom, I have a frenemy. I'm like, what are you talking about, frenemy? That's like, wow, these two words and make a new meaning, and it's like so cool, like even things that people take for granted. To me, they were like I'm telling you, it's like you're either, you're taking out your glasses or you're putting on more layers to see more further. I don't know, something like that. But it's a wonderful thing. I am very grateful to be here. I am so grateful to meet and to really get into with, in this culture, the way you guys do things here. I really enjoy it. It's fantastic.
Did you feel like even people of your culture that they may have changed a little bit being here? Did you feel that as well, or just it was the culture itself that was different, not necessarily your people as well?
Yeah, I think it's both. I think yes, it changes you because I think, in my way of thinking, obviously not for everybody, but there's more pressure here. There's more of, you're here to succeed. You're here to make it happen. Right. Yes, I know that there's more expectations of you, and why not? Why not? You're living in America, like. Who gets the chance just to come here and make it happen? And if you do get the chance, like, take it and run with it and take it all the way. I heard once that even, I don't know how to, you have to hear the whole story. Somebody said, being poor is a sin. And I said, being poor is a sin, but why? So the context of this was, it's because they say that when you have something, we all have something to offer. Mm-hmm. But when you make sure that you go and offer all of that you have, you will not be poor. You know what I'm saying? So if you're poor, it's because you're not really giving all of yourself. So that to me, clicked. I said, okay, so I get it now. You can't just go around saying, being poor is a sin. It's not a sin. And you got to get the whole context of the story. But to me, that it kind of represented too, when you come to the United States, you change your mentality, not only, being poor of money-wise, but you gotta give. There's, like, American way is, like, very generous. Like, or that's my experience again. People, my community, so generous, and that's what I am trying to repeat and go around and give, and so it can grow, you know.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, it helps me to realize how fortunate I am to have been born here and have the things that I have. So I appreciate that. You mentioned again, kind of going back to your childhood. I kind of like the childhood. It tells us who we are sometimes. But just growing up, what was the most unique or interesting way you had to make money or help around the house, help out around? What was some things you had to do that were unique or interesting?
Oh man. Okay, so I think I was maybe 10, 11ish, maybe 10, because you're not really embarrassed to do certain things. You're like the bravest at that age. You're like, there's no shame in anything, really, you know. It's not maybe until you get, maybe with more friends, and then you start seeing what they do, and then you want to copy, and you let go of who you truly are, and you want to become somebody else, and you lose yourself in that. But I remember before really being just with friends, it was about, I couldn't work at that age, right. But I knew I wanted money. I had the time. I had to do something. And so we had a tree at home. It was a lemon tree. And I remember my mom would tell me, fill out a bag, just a grocery bag, fill it out with lemons and take it to so-and-so, and they will give you money and you can keep it. So I did that, I would be going and I would put a lot of lemons in it. I would be like extra lemons, like the bag would like barely hold, and I would take it, and I don't know how much they'll give me, like 5 pesos, 10 pesos, I have no idea how much that is, maybe $1, I don't know. And I was happy, it was good. But then I started seeing, because in Mexico, there's all this entrepreneurship thing, it's always about that. Big corporations, all that, that's very American. And but in Mexico, it was all about, that guy is opening his own store just in front of my house, or the next door neighbor is opening a new shoe store next door. Like, that's where we come from. So, okay. So I decided to open up my own candy shop, okay? So, yeah, I got a little table that I had. I think I started with like a box, like just a box, and I flipped it, and put the stuff on there. And I remember going to the mercadito, which is like the market, and getting a bunch of candies, but just the candies I really liked, and that I always thought this will sell because, I like them and they will sell, right? So I got a bunch of candy, and I think my mom had to lend me money. I don't know, somebody had to lend me some money. And I will sit put the box, put the candy there, and be outside in the street from like probably 6, 7 p.m. for like an hour and a half. And so kids will show up, and start buying some candy. At the beginning, I remember feeling a little weird, like I didn't know how if it was gonna work out. But it did work out, because then eventually, like, all the kids, even if they didn't buy, or if they bought something, like, they would stick around, they would just be there. And that attracts people. You want to go buy some food, tacos, whatever. You see the big line, you want to go there too, right? Okay, so it kind of happened like that. Like, they would just stand around and talking to me, and I'll be, just sometimes putting somebody to work, and I'll be like, I'll be right back. I'm going to go, kick the ball or something. And yeah, that's how it happened. That was my
first business.
Right? My first business, yes. And it grew from there. I just kept doing different things. I used to sell. You will freeze the bananas, and then you will melt the chocolate, and then put the chocolate in the banana, and then people will buy those too. And I remember making ice bags with ice, and then the people will be ready to eat, but maybe the water wasn't cold enough, and they would come and buy ice from me. Like, just things started to flow. And I remember once, I also learned, so the following, one of the nights, somebody said, why don't you put your little shop, like in the morning, because a lot of kids come to school. We had a school in our street. And I said, yeah, that's a great idea. So I woke up early. I was not a morning person. And to my surprise, nobody eats candy in the morning. Like it was nobody was shopping. No candy, no. And that was the only time I tried it. It didn't work. I felt tired. It was just it wasn't for me. So I went back to what I knew was working. I got my little, I got my peeps. It was all good for that. But yeah, so I learned both things.
That's cool. I appreciate it. So I guess how's that translated for you in your real estate business? Has that helped you at all when you look back at that? Was
Yes.
that beneficial?
Definitely, it has helped a lot because I think that it has helped me to know that no matter what you do, some things are gonna work and some things aren't gonna work. What I just said. And I remember one time going to the park and there was this lady selling something, and I said, can I have this or whatever, and then I told her, I told she had like a little girl or something. I said, I remember doing this when I was a kid, like you, I said. And then the lady, I had somebody with me that was just, trying to be smart. And he's like, he's like, yeah, so don't encourage that. Something, he was trying to be funny. And I said, and then I remember and I said, but now I'm selling houses, so keep at it, like it was just good for that moment. So I hope that worked. And, you never know who you're going to inspire. Right. But to me, I think that, not being afraid of trying something, as when I did it when I was young, it helped. I also know that some people are going to like you and some people aren't going to like you. And that's okay. It's nothing. There's nothing to do with personality. Sometimes they just don't like any of the candies that you have there, and it's cool. Whatever, and it's fine. But most of the time, I think people are really open to whatever you have to offer. They'll give you an opportunity. They'll listen to you, and if it clicks, it clicks. Yeah, that's
plain and simple. It's just that easy. So you talked about being an inspiration. Who inspired you? Like, who did you want to be, or as a kid, as an adult? Who is it? Who inspires you?
I actually have a lot of people that I can say inspire me. Some people that are real in my life, but also people that I have found in YouTube or somewhere on the internet, on TV. I read a lot. I like reading, and I think I could say one of the persons that inspire me the most is Dyer. Okay. And I found him, when he was on Channel 8 a lot, like on PBS specials and stuff. And I started listening to him very often. And I like his way of thinking. I liked his way of living, and I even want to go visit Maui Island just because he lived there. And sometimes he talk, well, on the videos, he talks a lot about Maui, and I just really want to go and see what he saw. And other than that, I just can't. I have a whole list. I really do. There's a lot of people.
I like Dyer. I think he's a good person to be inspired by. So you brought a book here, As a Man Thinketh. I'd like for you to just kind of maybe even, I don't know if you want to read a passage if you like, or just tell us about what it is about the book that you like. And
I think the book, I really like the book that it's really short and to the point. There's no sugar coatings or anything that doesn't have to be there. I think to me it's anybody can read it. It's fast enough. It's what I should know, like 60 pages long or something, and it's really inspiring, and it really talks a lot about, just like the title says, as a man thinketh, like whatever it is that you want to bring, you think about it. However, if something happens, you're like, no, I couldn't have thought of that. Yeah. And knowing that we are responsible, I think we'll graduate from being to becoming. And you can't just say, no, we are responsible. And that brings a lot of awareness into our life. But by the same token, we bring good things into our lives. We create good, positive things. And I think it's a really inspiring book. A lot of people, you can find it like an audiobook, and it's free too online, and get it done maybe in like an hour or something. It's fantastic. I really recommend that for sure. Awesome.
I appreciate that. I too believe the same things, that whatever happens in life, you're responsible for your feelings about it. You're responsible for what that looks like. And I think once we comprehend that, we do have a power to take control of our lives and create a better life for ourselves. So. Sure. Well, I appreciate you being on. Any final thoughts or anything you'd like to say to the audience before we head out?
Well, I just want to thank you really for letting me be here. This is a great opportunity for me to just, tell everybody, that, if you're looking for an agent, you can call me, and I'll share my information on the video, and I'll be happy to help you, and I'll be there with you. I'll walk you, through the process of selling a house or buying a house. Or if you're investing, or you're out of town, out of state, and you want to know more about the market here in Phoenix, Arizona, I can definitely help you out.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.